Welcome to the Unbroken Arrows podcast. I'm Greg.
And I'm Catherine. It's been a little bit since we've recorded anything.
It has been. It's been a busy holiday season, so we're trying to get back on track and get on a schedule. And we'd hope to do a podcast this week about ice fishing, but it's just been busy yet. There's a lot of things going on, and life is happening, so we are going to talk a little bit about a few different topics and talk about our year in review.
Yeah, to be 100% honest with you guys, we sat down and was like, what should we talk about? And Greg goes, well, last year around this time we did a year review. And I was like, sounds good. I can talk about what happened this year.
And just doing that quick look through on what we use as our rear end review.
Our rear end view. I'm pretty sure that's what you called it last year.
Yeah. But what we look at is our photos on our phone, and it's amazing how many things take place in a year. And again, along with I guess the spirit of the podcast, we're a year older. A year ago at this point in time, we just started the podcast. So, congratulations to you, and
pound it.
A pat on the back is in what's I'm looking for.
I have no idea.
Appropriate, and it's been fun.
Yes.
Hasn't it?
No, it has been fun.
Okay.
I was just thinking about how you worded that, and it made me giggle.
Okay.
No, it's been a blast. I don't ever listen to them after because I don't like hearing my own voice, but...
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I always have to listen to them because I do most of the editing, so... But I guess after that, I don't necessarily listen to them.
When I edit them.
Yeah.
And I listened to the first couple, like the original ones we posted, and after that, I was like, ooh.
Oh.
I listen to the ones you do, though, when you're by yourself.
Okay. Yeah. No more with that. Let's see. In what I started to say was with Unbroken Arrows, Healing Through the Hunt, one of the things that just occurred in your life, in our life, is the anniversary of your father's death. And one of the things that does happen every year is we are reminded of the losses that we have had throughout our lives, and the thing is that's kind of tough, as we've both found out, and this year will be no different. And so with the Unbroken Arrows podcast, we want to make sure that everybody understands that the whole idea, that maybe this is the first time you've listened to Unbroken Arrows, but the name is Catherine's brainchild, and the fact that a broken arrow doesn't fly, an unbroken arrow does fly, and we want to move forward. And so each and every year we're going to honor the memories of those that we have lost, and we will continue to move forward and be the living legacies of those folks that we lost. So
I think something too that, and Greg, you can disagree if you feel differently, but as I've grown and gone through losing my sister and losing my dad, the thing that I noticed is how awkward people are when you talk about them. Mm-hmm. And they get clammy and they don't want to talk about it. And if you're someone that wants to support someone through that, talk about those people, make them feel like they are remembered and that they're still there. Because like I said, there's several people that, will still ask me how I'm doing on a more regular basis, and we'll bring up stories, and our family talks about them a lot. But a lot of times when you bring them up to other close friends and family, they just are oh, well, we don't want to talk about that because we don't want to make you uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. But it's those are the things that help heal, because it's other people remember him too, or her too, and you can all heal through that together.
Absolutely. No, I would not disagree with that at all. And I think that's something that people, regardless of how close you are, whether it's a family member, whether it's a friend, any of those kinds of things. I think that sometimes people are afraid to say the wrong thing. And from my experience, the only wrong thing is to like shy away from,
Ignore it.
ignore it.
Yeah.
Don't talk about it. Don't, or maybe even totally disassociate yourself from the person because you're afraid you're going to say something wrong or something like that. But no, I mean, there's times that we'll be around the table. Different stories will be shared of you and your family's lives, me and my family's lives. And yeah, those are healing. We're not hunting at that time. We're eating and healing.
Yeah, eating, playing card
Playing
games.
card games, those kinds of
Sitting
things.
around watching TV.
That's right. But that's a great point, Catherine.
And it was just something I thought of like on the anniversary because each year less and less people reach out to you, which is, it is what it is. People continue on with their lives, and it's not a super life-changing dramatic event for everyone.
Right.
But I do think a lot of people shy away from it just because they are uncomfortable.
Yeah, and something I noticed this year is that there's so many in our lives, in our Spader, Pavlik Spader family. Everything's really congested.
Yeah,
you know?
it all happens
it's November to
Yeah.
to January, and it's like, you've got birthdays in there, and you've got anniversaries of people's deaths, and it's like. And then you've got Thanksgiving and Christmas
and
in
New
there
Year's
too.
Day.
Yeah.
It's a busy couple of months. It's
Yeah,
an
it
emotional
is.
roller coaster.
Yeah. So it's one of those that exactly. It's a roller coaster when we're going through there, and that's and I appreciate the little texts that you send to me on days because Holly's and my anniversary is your birthday, and. Sometimes just those little things, letting people know you're thinking about them means a lot. So.
Yeah, and like what I'm saying to reach out to people or to talk about them, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like I just say, hey, thinking about you today, or like something super simple. It could be a heart emoji. Like you don't have to do anything crazy.
That's exactly right.
But.
And it's appreciated. Maybe sometimes people don't know how to respond to that. If you reach out to somebody and they don't know how to respond, don't take that as you did something wrong. But by the same token, I would say that if somebody does reach out to you, acknowledge it. And yeah, it might be a shock, and it might send a wave of different emotions through you at the time. But guess what? When somebody reaches out to you, and it's heartfelt, and to recognize that is important, I think. So
Yeah. On that note, should we start our year-end view?
Or rear-end view.
Rear-end view. Dang it.
Our year in review. How's that? Our rear-end view. Maybe that's what it just should become.
Yeah, the rear-end view.
The tradition. The
I
rear-end
like
view.
it. I like it.
Well, the thing that popped up first on my phone was Pheasant Fest.
Really?
Yeah.
When was that?
That would have been
Wasn't that in
March
March?
1st.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll go first.
Okay, go
because
first.
I've got like all kinds of pictures. We started our year with a goose hunt. That was like, I think it was like January 8th or 9th or something last year. It was a snowstorm. Gosh, I do think that was in January. That's where my pictures are, but now I'm like, I think I was in school when we did that, but I wouldn't have been. Anyways, we all had the day off for some reason. I don't know why. I think it was a snowstorm and like everything shut down. So we said, hey, let's go shoot some snow geese, Canadian geese. And we didn't absolutely crush them, but we shot a couple. So that was a lot of fun. That was AJ, Nate, me, and then another guy that came out with us. And then I have some pictures of pheasant hunting the very last weekend, which is always one of my favorite weekends to pheasant hunt.
And I'd like to go sometime.
Yeah, well, this last pheasant's weekend here,
Yeah.
we'll take you out. We'll go.
I hope the schedule allows it. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, we are hoping to at least hunt Sunday. I don't know if we'll be able to go Saturday. We have a previous commitment. Last weekend of pheasant's probably my favorite weekend to hunt.
I remember you saying that last year, and and why is that again?
It's always just like exciting because you know it's your last time. It's cold. There's usually snow on the ground, so the birds hold tighter. It's usually a smaller group too, because a lot of people don't like to go when it's the
When
very
it's
end of season and
colder.
cold and there's snow. It's so fun. The dogs can work really well because the birds just sit tight.
I think those are all good reasons for that particular pheasant hunt. But last year it was fairly warm. We had a warmer winter. We had hardly any snow.
There was still snow on the ground though.
Was there for that one? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, how much snow is on the ground now?
Not much.
But it is cold. So.
None.
Okay.
Yes, then into February, we started shed hunting. And we actually found a decent amount of sheds last year.
That was in February?
Yeah, we started early because there was no snow.
Oh, okay.
Because it was so warm that we
Okay.
already had pictures of deer shedding. So we went out there. We just went to our property. And then later, I think like in March, we went to the other property and shed hunted that too. But then we also hunted the last day of goose season too in February. And we shot like 6 geese. It was pretty anticlimactic, but that's okay. It was still fun. And then, yeah, I think it was Pheasant Fest in March.
So yeah, I think you're right. Pheasant Fest. I don't have anything in terms of any recollections of January or February of last year, which is kind of pathetic if you really stop and think about it, maybe. But anyway, but yeah. So Pheasant was in March.
Pheasant?
What?
Pheasant?
Pheasant Fest and Quail Classic was in March, and that was an interesting.
It was a good time.
It was a good time. We spent the whole weekend there, and we recorded, I think, if I remember, it was like 12 or 13 different podcasts that weekend, and met a lot of great people, and those were all things that when they happened, we kind of decided, well, we kind of like doing this, and we'll make the effort to keep going forward. So that's where that came from. But after that, I'm not sure.
Then he doesn't have any pictures until July.
That might. It's not the case. I've got a lot of pictures. It's just I'm not sure what
They're
the
all
pictures are.
Screenshots of nothing.
Yeah.
No, we did some wader fishing after that, just because the ice had finally gotten off, but we didn't want to take the boat out yet, so.
In March?
Wader fish, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I've got pictures of AJ catching fish.
Wow.
That's because there's already no ice in March.
Well, I've got pictures of your mom and Teresa and I cutting down some trees up at Lake Poncet for the garage project of your grandpa's. And it was snowing, blowing. It was a brutally cold day. And it was snowing, but then there was a little bit of snow on the ground. But in terms of, Esteline, South Dakota, and the amount of snow that they usually get, that was like nothing.
Yeah.
Last year was nothing.
No, we did not get a lot. And then we did more shed hunting at that point. And then we were kind of in full-fledged turkey mode.
Let's see.
Because, that would have been end of April, but we were shooting and preparing for turkey.
Right. So who all harvested a turkey this year?
Oh boy, let's see. Teresa got one opening day. I shot one with my bow. Nate shot one with his bow. I think that was it. I think AJ had a tag, but he never went out, even though I offered to take him a couple times. And I only got Mesa out twice, because every time I'd ask her, she'd be like, oh, I think I want to sleep in. I go, that's up to you, but you're not going to shoot a turkey. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You missed your turkey.
I knew that was coming. I was trying to get past that without having to take any crap. But that didn't happen, so... I do see in March your mom went through her sourdough bread phase.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
got a picture. I've got a picture or
Yep.
two of a few loaves of sourdough bread, and having to come up with all these different recipes. And I'm glad she decided to give that up. Anyway, for the time being.
Yeah. And then into May, gosh, what were we doing in May? We were doing a little bit of fishing, some golfing. Oh, Mackenzie and I went to Yellowstone.
In May?
Yeah, the very end of May.
Well, okay. Well, let's see. Well, May was a big month for me because grandchild number 9 was born. Merrick. Merrick was born on May 11th, and I do have to throw this in here because last year's the year of review, I did not mention that granddaughter Claire, who was number 8, I didn't mention that, so I kind of got reprimanded by my son Elliot, which rightfully so. I should have. But anyway, so yep, number 9 was born in May. And then when you went to Yellowstone, that's when we made a trip to Washington. Actually, we made a fairly long kind of a loop. We went to Washington to visit my daughter Sydney and granddaughter Audrey. We stayed with our friends, my friends that I taught with in Omaha, Mike and Denise Antrim, and we stayed there with them. Audrey and Sydney and I went whale watching. Your mom and Teresa were scheduled to go, but Teresa wasn't feeling well.
We have a spader curse. So, any of us spaders, if we go on vacations,
Get sick?
we somehow get sick or injured. Pretty much like 87% of the time.
87.
Yeah. So, like, Teresa broke her leg when we were in Colorado.
Yep.
Teresa got sick on this trip. Last time I was in Colorado, I got super sick. Or I guess that was 2 Colorado trips ago. I got super sick and was like throwing up for 3 days straight and like couldn't get out of bed. AJ got bit by a bug on one of our family vacations and his like whole leg or something swelled up, and they took him into the hospital thinking he was having like some serious allergic reaction, and the doctor basically said, yeah, you got bit by a bug. Like, good luck. I'm trying to think of, when we went to Alaska, I smashed my thumb in the RV door and, like, broke that. Yeah, I mean, someone's always sick.
I guess you've got some evidence there
Yeah.
for a possible curse.
There's a curse, I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
Well, the trip to Washington also, we came back through Colorado for my nephew's wedding. And my nephew I'm talking with him about being a guest on the podcast. He's gone through some trials and tribulations in his life, and I won't go any deeper into that. I'll let him talk about those kinds of things. But he, up until very recently, has been working for a company by the name of Hard Beauty, and they help them in life, help them to get reestablished in life after going through some type of traumatic event. And anyway, I'm looking forward to spending some time with him and talking about that on our podcast, because he is in the process of starting to venture out on his own and establishing a nonprofit. And I want him to be able to use this podcast as a way to communicate that to people. So looking forward to that. And the wedding was a lot of fun.
And the wedding?
His wedding.
Oh, yeah. I was like, whose wedding? Whose wedding was in May? Did I miss that?
It was June.
June. Okay, sorry.
It was my nephew Jeremy. So.
Yeah, June, basically all I have is when we were in Yellowstone still.
Yeah, well, your mom and I went up to our family cabin in Minnesota in
June still?
In June still.
We're still in June?
You're still in June. And then on the way back then, that's when we stopped at your grandparents' place on Lake Poncet, and that's we were there then through the 4th of July. So that's their big time, is to have family and friends get together there at the 4th of July, big celebration there. Although, if I recall, the big fireworks show, weather wasn't good, if I remember right.
Yeah.
We played quite a bit
It
over the
was
line, but
cold. Yeah, because it was so cold. I think I got frostbite with my ears at some point. Because if it's even like remotely cold, my ears just hurt so bad. And it
Oh.
goes all the way into like my head.
Okay.
And it's just painful.
I thought you got frostbite on the 4th of
No,
July.
no,
And
no,
it's
no.
like, no,
No,
Catherine, I
but
don't.
I remember playing over the line and I was wearing one of Grandpa's like winter beanies because it was like
The wind.
45 degrees and super windy. And we were like, it's 4th of July. What is happening? And then I think you guys had already left, but there was a like tornado warning because we all went to the back shop and had the like garage door open and was watching. It was like pouring crazy and the tornado sirens were going off. And it was, gosh, I think it was me and Grandpa, Nate, Grandma, maybe Matthew and Juliana. And then the neighbors came over too.
Yeah.
I think you guys had already left.
Yeah, we weren't there for that.
Yeah. And then we were eating popcorn and playing bags as there was a tornado warning going off.
Oh.
If that is not the most Midwest thing you've ever heard.
That's exactly right. At least you didn't get up on the roof, play bags, and watch for
No.
the clouds to come in. That'd be the other thing. People get up into a higher ground to watch to see if the tornado's coming.
Yeah. No, we were watching the storm come across the lake, though, because it was crazy. You could see the rain.
Well, one thing, and I'm going to backtrack just for a second because I don't want to get reprimanded by Elliot again. But in April, because we said we didn't have a whole lot going on in April, Elliot and Emily and Bentley and Claire all moved from Oklahoma to Italy, and that's where he's stationed now, is in Italy. So that was a big move for them, but they're loving it. That's just, can't believe all the traveling they do and what they get to go see, and hopefully sometime maybe we'll get to go there and visit them. But okay, so we're back to July. Sorry about that.
Yes, back to
To
July.
the segue, and it doesn't look like, boy, our year in review is pretty.
Yeah, I didn't do much in July. We went to the lake. We had a wedding. That was a lot of fun.
End of July, went down to Omaha Waverly to visit my grandson Leo. It was close to his birthday, and then went to go see Merrick and my son Ashley, my son my son Alex and his wife Ashley and granddaughter Jillian. So that was a July trip. Did you ever hear that this was July too? Did you ever hear the story of, well, no, you experienced it, the cardinal story of the backyard?
Yeah, the one that'll sing to us.
Well, the one that, we could draw in. Yeah, we had, the long story short is that I recorded this cardinal when I went to go visit, I was at the cemetery where Holly is inurned, and I took a recording of a cardinal that was singing, and we were in the backyard playing cribbage here, and I remembered it and told Stephanie about it, and I played the recording, and all of a sudden, here comes a cardinal. I mean, it landed like 3 feet from us. Mm-hmm. It was a mixed up cardinal because it couldn't quite figure out where that sound was coming from. But
And then it kind of hung around all summer.
yeah,
Because we'd just whistle and it would whistle back to us.
yep, and we called it in several times when we told the story and told people about it, and it's like, oh, really?
Be like, yeah, watch.
Exactly. Your mom turned 50.
Oh, yes, she did.
I'll
Half a century.
I'll have to ask.
Happy birthday, Mom.
I'll,
6 months late.
I'll have
kidding.
to ask if it's okay to keep that in there.
She'll be fine.
Well, and then August.
August was AJ and Mackenzie's wedding, which was so fun. Greg almost didn't make it because he was isolating at the lake cabin because he was sick. Mm-hmm. But it was a blast. Congratulations to them again.
Yep.
They will be moving into a new house.
Yep.
They bought a new house, so that's exciting as well. And then we just did a lot of hunting prep. We shot our bows a lot, put out trail cameras, got ready to go west, started school.
You know what, Catherine? I live a pretty boring life.
I'm telling you, I always say every time I come home, you're just sitting on the couch.
Yeah, I'm just sitting. You always say that? I've never heard you say that, but you must think it all the time.
No, I don't say that all the time. You do a lot of stuff, but I don't know, maybe you don't.
Oh, well,
I feel like you're always busy, like, fixing things.
Yeah, that's true.
Or cooking.
Yeah, that's all part of it. Or laundry, or dishes, or all those other things that, are part of a household.
Very fun things. All right, so nothing else in August?
I don't see a whole lot in August. Well, we went back to Minnesota in September again for a little bit.
You went dove hunting with us in September, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went dove hunting. We
Couple
shot a
times.
ton of doves again.
Mm-hmm. A couple times. I don't think you were there the second time I was there.
Maybe not. There's no reason for that spot that we hunt to be as good as it is.
Yeah,
none.
I remember the first time I went, which would have been last year. It was like, okay, we're going to see some doves, huh? And then all of a sudden,
you're like,
whatever,
oh,
100 doves later on the ground with 17 people shooting. But yeah, it's quite impressive.
It's pretty fun.
Your mom had her second knee replaced. I think it was in September or no, it was in October. I guess I will say that the summer, probably the activity that we participated, and I'm saying your mom and I, Pickleball. Yeah,
I played a lot of pickleball too.
Well, you did, but I think we played a lot more.
Well,
we went out nearly
but
every day.
Was going to work.
Yeah, well,
neither
has
of
to
you
work.
go to work.
Yeah, well, I don't.
Mom works. She doesn't go to work though. She can work
she
whenever
works from
she
the home.
wants.
That's right.
Some of us actually had responsibilities. No, we did play a lot of pickleball, and that is super fun. So I'm looking forward to it warming up again so that we can do that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I just hate when it's stupid cold. But September, Nate also shot his mule deer, and it's still frequently talked about. I don't know if I've ever talked about a deer more than we've talked about this muley.
So, like, give me an example.
Like, it just comes up all the time.
Oh.
Like, which is fine. It was an awesome hunt to be on. It's a huge deer. But we talk about it all the time. Like, Nate and I talk about it. We talk about it with other people. Other people bring it up all the time. Like, at work, if we're talking about something, someone will be like, oh, yeah, like, Catherine's boyfriend shot a huge deer. I'm like, yep.
Now Catherine's fiance.
Now fiance.
Yeah,
he was my boyfriend when it happened.
That's right. So, well, that's December happening though, wasn't it? So
yes. We haven't gotten there yet.
I see pictures of your mom and I tailgating at Cornhusker football games in
So it's still
October.
A dry stadium?
Not anymore.
Like as of now?
As of now, yep. It's that the regents voted on that last. Well, it was like in the middle of the end of the summer, middle of the football season. But yeah, so from then on,
Nice.
we did a couple. Well, I did, I guess, a couple of remote podcast recordings at the PDR Youth Hunt, and also then across the border at Ponca State Park for the Casting for Recovery. So those were a couple of things that were new to the podcast. And then in October, we got, again, I made a trip down to Waverly to visit kids, and that was Audrey and Sydney were here. Okay, in October, I see a fishing trip. Your grandpa and your mom and I went to Big Stone and caught a bunch of perch and nice-sized bluegill.
We went pheasant hunting for opener with Grandpa. Peter's came.
That's right.
Yeah, so that was super fun. He got out for the first time in a long time, and he actually shot a couple birds, too. I shouldn't say actually like I'm surprised.
No, that's not what I was saying.
Oh.
I was saying is giving him a hard time that he didn't shoot anything. I thought he
No,
did.
he did.
Yeah, okay.
He did.
Yeah. I have some November pictures of...
Wait, hold on. Pause. Teresa shot her first doe in October.
Oh, yeah.
So she went out and shot her first deer, which was very fun. It was a very easy hunt. But she had a lot of fun, and she was all for. I was like, "Hey, you want to go out again sometime? Like next year? Should I get you another tag?" She's like, "Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Like, I want to do that again." And then when I was field dressing it, I was like, "Okay, Teresa, you got to hold the legs, because if you're gonna shoot them, you got to know what happens. I'm not gonna make you do your own." Nate was trying to be like, "Oh, she has to do her own because she shot it." And after that, she goes, "I don't know if I want to shoot another one if I have to do that."
Yeah. Well, that's something that you kind of grow into, I think.
Yeah. Which I don't mind doing it either, especially when it's not freezing cold. So right. I don't really care.
Right.
And then we also did we went on a duck hunt, but it was pretty anticlimactic as well. So.
Yeah, that's a topic that maybe, when I read my outdoor news, the duck populations are quite often in the storyline.
Well, we saw a ton of ducks. They just all landed 400 yards from us.
Okay. Well, yeah, it is. It's a topic of conversation, and the number of duck seasons and early, late, and youth, and those kinds of things are starting to get debated a little bit too. So, okay, so are we in November yet then?
Yeah, we're into November.
Okay, well, November, basically our winter months here in the Midwest are for my daughter Stacy and her husband Brad and family. That is their camping months in the desert in California. And so my grandson and granddaughter both have their own dirt bikes. And little Koa is right now, I'm looking at pictures of him riding. He can start his own dirt bike and he can get going in. And he is going to be turning 6 this year in 2025. He's a 5-year-old. On a dirt bike.
He's like a little surfer dude, BMX. Yeah. Does he skateboard?
Yeah.
I feel like he skateboards. He plays hockey.
Yes, he does.
This little kid is athletic. He's sassy, too.
It's not a situation that he's, what's the best way to describe it, does well with things. And part of that is because he's got, an older stepsister and older stepbrother that are there to kind of push him along. But when it comes to these kinds of things, his parents don't like to let him quit. So if something didn't happen easy for him the first time, it's like, oh no, you're going to try it again. So
yeah, growing up, we could play one sport. Once we got into 3rd grade, I want to say, because mom and dad said we have 5 kids, they can't all be doing 5 different sports.
Exactly.
But I think I did cheer in kindergarten or 1st grade, and then I switched to volleyball. But not to be like tooting my own horn, I was pretty naturally talented at a lot of stuff growing up. So like hunting, shooting, all of that came to me pretty easily. Like volleyball came to me fairly easy. I wasn't a star, but I didn't really have to try that hard. And so then when I got older and things weren't easy, I got so mad. Mm-hmm. And I think part of that is because I didn't try any other sports. So everything I did, I was like, oh yeah, like I'm decent. Like I'm okay.
I could do that.
Yeah.
I get that. But yes, you were tooting your own horn. Just.
No, I'm not saying I was a star, but I was okay. Like I didn't have to really try super hard.
Right.
To be okay.
I know.
I'm not saying I just naturally superstar athlete.
No. I understand.
I'm not that much of an athlete anymore.
But some people, things just come easier for them, and that's okay. And other people have to work hard, and that's okay too. So.
Yeah. Cool.
In that time frame, we're in November, December now again, and the Bears had high hopes at the beginning of the
All
season.
All
And,
right.
you know,
Come on.
and
That's all right.
and
The Vikings are
just
going to
happened
choke.
to lose
The
their
Vikings
third game.
are going to choke.
Let's see. They lost fewer games than the Bears won.
That's not true. Wait.
No, I think they did win 4.
I would say I'm pretty sure we're at 4.
4.
Four, maybe 5.
Maybe they beat the Packers and got their 5th win.
Yeah.
But for the most part.
But that's fine because the Vikings are going to choke this week. Against the Rams, there's no way they win.
Okay. Again, you know, the Cornhusker football team, my goal was to go to a bowl. The fact that we went to a bowl, yay. We won the bowl. That was just like icing on the cake. So the Vikings, they made it to the playoffs. Would have been nice, but I'm okay with not having a bye week, so we'll see. So anyway, and then back to December. That's where your news comes in again.
Yeah, I turned 21. I got engaged.
Yeah.
We partied in Deadwood.
Yep.
And Greg partied with us in Deadwood.
And Mom.
And Nate's parents.
Yeah.
And Uncle Mark and Uncle Sarah. Aunt Sarah. Sorry, Sarah. And some of Nate's cousins. And my friends Brad and Steph. It was a fun time. We had a big group. Mm-hmm. We did some karaoke. I have Mark singing Ode to My Car by Adam Sandler on video. He crushed the karaoke, to be honest. Were you there for that? He crushed it.
Nope. Didn't get to the cigar bar either, but that's okay.
Oh, yeah, we did go to the cigar bar. But that was pretty, you would have liked it, but it was pretty anticlimactic because everyone was so down to go, and we walked in, and they're like, yeah, we're leaving.
Oh, they're closing down?
No, they weren't closing. Everyone else was like, we don't want to do this.
Yeah, well.
They gave us free drinks, though, because someone told them Nate and I got engaged.
Oh, that was sweet.
Yeah.
And your mom and I also, we went out a few days early, and we took 3 days to ride the Black Hills Forest Trails, which was a lot of fun. You and Nate joined us one day, and you know, Nate was bored because it's a retired person's
thing.
activity.
Yeah, he what did he say to you? Were you like, oh, are you like enjoying this?
No,
and he goes,
no, I just told him that I'm glad I didn't do this. You know, I haven't done this my whole life because I really enjoy doing it. And he's like, yeah, I'm really pretty certain that it's a retired person's activity. And it's like, okay, Nate.
This was while Mom and I had bathroom break.
Yes, that's right. And it's like, okay, Nate, I used to like you.
Mom and I were just talking yesterday about how Nate and Greg are so alike that it's weird. They have, I have a picture of them both walking into church with their, vest on and t-shirt underneath it and jeans, and they, both have their hands in their pocket, and I'm like, oh, it's so weird.
Well, I'll have to stop trying to be like Nate. I guess that's what it has to, trying to be.
They're both into biology.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I don't know. I don't know what to say about that.
Also, in December, we did some more pheasant hunting, and we took some of my uncle's elk guides out. So they came down from Colorado. No. Why are you shaking now?
Because that was just last weekend. That was January.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't. It was the weekend after Christmas. I worked last weekend.
Where was I last weekend?
I have no idea.
We just came back from someplace. Where were we?
You guys went to Verdigris for a day.
Man, I'm just drawing a blank.
I have no idea. Let me look at the calendar, see if it's on there. I have no idea where you were, but that was the weekend after.
Well, we rambled for a long time, and hopefully that as things slow down a little bit, you're starting school. Did you start school already?
No, I start Monday.
On the road.
Trying not to sound so excited.
Yeah, well, you're almost done, so you should be excited about that. So
I'm actually excited about 2 of my classes. 2 of my 5.
Yeah, it's okay. I remember being in college, and it seemed like a long time, but when you're living it, it goes pretty quick. So
yeah.
So, well, I think an alarm is going to go off here fairly soon because I think I need to start supper. So all of you don't go hungry.
Nice.
So I better go do that. So, well, I'll let Catherine sign off today because...
Guys, I don't have our intro up in front of me, so I'm just going to wing it.
This would be an outro.
Outro. Sorry, I don't have my outro up in front of me. So, to all of those listening, I hope you take some time to get outside, get outdoors, and enjoy the healing powers of nature. With that, until next time, finger guns.
Finger guns. Until next time.